What is going on, Multiversers? Welcome back to the channel. So it is now 2023. It is a new year, which means there's gonna be new characters coming to Multiversus. I mean, obviously. Tony even told us just last week that he's back working on new characters. So yes, obviously new characters are coming into the game. When? We'll have to wait and see, hopefully soon. And now that the holiday break is starting to wrap up, getting back to work a little bit, hopefully we hear something soon. But today's topic is all about a potential, and I want to put the emphasis on potential, hint towards a specific character or series for Multiversus. So the information at first comes from a data miner, but I don't want this to be confused. This wasn't data mined. This was just a data miner bringing attention to a little interaction that happened on Twitter. So we'll break it all down. So here's the first tweet from Lysul, who brought this to everyone's attention. Possibly a Walter White or a Breaking Bad tease for Multiversus. All right, okay. So lead character artist of Player First Games, whose name is Dan, and we will talk about Dan a little bit more in just a bit. But Dan replied to Mr. White for MVS, Twitter account for getting Walter White in Multiversus. So the Walter White account tweeted in a joking manner that this year would only be good if Walter White joined Multiversus in 2023. And then that's where Dan replied, expect good things. So here a little bit more breakdown. So a few days ago, the official Player First Games Twitter account tweeted this out. You'll see in the upper left-hand side. And then the Walter White for Multiversus replied specifically to their tweet down in the bottom right. But Player First Games, we hope your 2022 was incredible and your 2023 is even better. We at PFG are grateful for our community and yada yada. You can read the rest of the tweet if you want to. But then, as we've seen, the Walter White account tweeted, hey, the only way I'll have a good year is if Walter White joins Multiversus. So here's where everything kind of gets up in arms, right? Back to the Dan guy. Now, Dan guy, here's his tweet, specifically replying to the Walter White for Multiversus account, where he says, expect good things. Is that a tweet? Obviously it's a tweet. No, is that a tease? Is that a tease? Look, it very well could be. But also it might not be. So I want to look at the two things. Yes, on one hand, it very well could be a tease because of who he's specifically replying to. Because he's specifically replying to the Walter White for Multiversus Twitter account, saying to expect good things when they're saying, no, the only way I can have a good year is if he gets playable. So that's on one hand. But then on the other, what if Dan, who works at Player First Games, seen the Player First Games tweet, and he just wanted to reply to people in the Twitter thread, right? Just, yeah, hey, good things are coming to the game. Maybe it's just that. Maybe there's no tease whatsoever. It's just kind of your typical, I don't know if you want to call it like a little fluff piece, whatever. Like, yeah, hey guys, stay tuned. We got some good stuff. Maybe it's just that sort of generic type of response. But again, who he replied to is what's catching everybody's attention. So a little bit about Dan here real quick. If anybody doesn't believe that he does work at Player First Games, brought up his IMDb page here real quick. So Dan Eder, or Dan Eder, who is a senior 3D character artist for Player First Games. So look at that. He does work there. So if there's any questions about this dude, put that to rest. He's good. He checks out. But about him, he's the 3D artist specializing in character art, low poly modeling, and texturing. So the dude, he works on the characters. So cool. So if he knows which character he's working on, well, then he's going to know which characters are coming to the game at some point in the future. Maybe not the release date, but he knows, hey, I worked on this, and eventually that's going to get pushed through, and we're going to push it out to the players. So there you go. That's about Dan. But one thing I do want to bring up, because I do believe this has some sort of relevancy to this situation, is a tweet that Tony Wynn actually made back in August. Some of you might remember this tweet, but I do believe it plays some importance here. So Tony tweeted this out where he said, "The requests determine a lot of which characters we pursue. and this is in response to Victoria, where she was asking, hey, you know, are you guys open to character request? And he was saying basically, yeah, the requests are going to determine who we go for to put in the game at some point. But continuing the tweet, Request just recently directed our team towards putting more resources towards a character that would have been much further out. So put this in a time frame, right? Again, that tweet was made on August 22nd. Now, what's important about that date specifically? Well, end of July is when the Multiversus open beta was released, and July and August were a massive couple, well, I guess, month and a half for Multiversus, right? Many players. And with many players, there was a lot of, hey, I want this character, or I want that character. And then there was a lot of insert character name here for Multiversus Twitter accounts that popped up all over the place, gaining a lot of traction. So that Walter White for Multiversus account was one of the biggest, if not the biggest one out there, that gained so much traction and so much steam, and so many people were kind of jumping on it, maybe as a meme at first, but then it kind of grew into like sort of a juggernaut. If I would say it might be the biggest one out there, but I think it's kind of died down since. But either way, there's a lot of attention on that. So the Walter White for Twitter, or for Twitter, yes, Walter White for Twitter. No, the Walter White for Multiversus Twitter account, if that gained so much traction and there were so many players around that August 22nd time frame when Tony made his tweet, well, what if that's when what if that tweet is in reference to, yeah, we were listening to the players, there's so many of them saying we want Walter White, so we're gonna do what we can. So, you know, Request just recently directed our team towards putting more resources towards a character. I mean, that's pretty big. I think that could put, I mean, I don't want to say this definitely doesn't mean this is a Walter White or a Breaking Bad character. No. This could be for a different character entirely. We don't know until Tony gives us a confirmation on that. But I do think it is important to bring up for this conversation because it could very well tie into it. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I guess the only question that I have is, what do you guys think? Is this a tease for Walter White in Multiversus? I mean, on one hand, I think it would be fantastic. I'm not too... Like, I wouldn't mind the character in the game at all, but I'm not really rooting for him. I'm going to be honest. I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm really not, but I'm not voting against him either, you know? But I think it would be great for the game. Not only would you get Walter White in Multiversus, which gives the game a lot more exposure again. Like, you just added who to what game in a platform fighter? Like, that would be massive for the game. That could bring some players back. People would be excited about that, so that would be good. And it shows that Player First Games is listening to the players in terms of who we're asking for. So I think this would ultimately be a very big thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for the game. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But the question, you think this was a tease? As of right now, I'm going to say no. This happens to not be a tease in the slightest, but we'll wait and see. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the very next character, maybe they announce a new character like tomorrow and it happens to be Walter White. How crazy would that be? I don't know. Either way, that is all that I got for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your brand new year. Hopefully you got off to a strong start. But that's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed. And I guess I'll see you when I'm looking at you.